this episode, we are going to do something that we have not done in a very long time, and that is grab a fistful of Joes. Hello, fellow dorks and dorkettes, and welcome to It Came From My Side of the Laundry Room. My name is Rob, and in this episode, we are finally returning to Fistful of Joes Reloaded. It's been a very long time since we've done one of these episodes. It was all the way back in September of 2023 when we did the 6th episode of the Reloaded rebranding of Fistful of Joes. Now, since we have so many new subscribers since September of last year, allow me to explain what Fistful of Joes is all about. Fistful of Joes is a show where I take one of these containers, I have many of them, that I store all of my G.I. Joe 3 3/4 inch action figures. And that means G.I. Joe from the 80s, 90s, all the way up to 25th anniversary. I keep in these. So what I do is I pop the lid, grab a fistful of them, and we take a look at them. It's not a review per se, it's more of a retrospective look at these awesome G.I. Joe figures that I have in my collection. And to be honest, it's just a chance for me to take them out and play with them a little bit. So anyway, we have waited 7 long months to get a new Fistful of Joes. So let's get to it.
Yo, Joe!
Okay, folks, here is the time where I crack open the container and I grab a random Fistful of Joes. Usually it's 5, sometimes we get 6. Here we go. I grabbed them, and now let's take a look at them. And the first one will be our first one is the Cobra Eel. Now, this was a figure I wanted so bad when I was a kid. And believe me, I just got this very recently, last summer, when I got a huge care package of G.I. Joe stuff from my friend Michael. And I was, taken aback that a figure like this that I've wanted for so long just happened to be in that awesome care package. Now, let's take a look at his gear. Well, before we take a look at the gear, and please excuse me, it has been a while since we've done one of these. Let's take a look at the figure. Now, you can see I need to change the O-ring, and I'll get around to that. But that silver Cobra emblem just looks so good. Now, such great detailing on this figure. Oh, sorry for the blurriness. Like I said, I'm trying to remember how to do this and get back into the groove of it. A boot knife there. Pouches on his belt. Looks great. First thing we'll put on is this respirator hookup. It has posts here and little holes here. Sorry, I have to chase off a cat that wants to play with my Joes. We'll put on his backpack, and this part comes off. And I was always curious as to why. I mean,
I assume this is like a propulsion system on his tank to allow him to speed through the water. And one of the things I apologize about this show, if you're a new viewer, is I take my time because I enjoy playing with these as we take a look at them. So he also came with 2 flippers. We'll put those on. And I don't know how well he'll stand without using my stand here, but I love this harpoon gun. It has such great detailing. I mean, you have the harpoons here. I think this is like a shock thing, like a shark prod. You got like the rubber band propulsion system there. Like a CO2 tank or something underneath to help propel it through the water. But here, let's put it in both his hands. Excuse me. Getting a little froggy. It's a little late at night. But I was in the mood to play with some G.I. Joe figures and also to do a new Fistful of Joes Reloaded for April Anniversary Month. I planned to do a Forgotten Toys episode tonight, but G.I. Joe was calling. I'm having a hard time putting it in his other hand, and I'm scared of busting a thumb, so let me get that stand out of there. So we will just, whoa, knock the camera. It's crazy. It's going crazy around here. Oh, it's taking a bow. Apologize for the blur. There we go. So there we have the Cobra Eel. Again, so happy to have him in my collection. Here's the file card. Throw that in there. Yeah, great shape. Has all of his accessories. Has the file card. You can't ask for more. So let's get to our next random Fistful of Joe. Our next random Joe is the 25th anniversary Commando Snake Eyes figure. Now, right off the bat, the only thing I do not like about this is the yellow grenade. But other than that, this is an awesome figure. It has more of a blue motif like the cartoon. And yeah, just it's a solid figure. So let's take a look at him. And for some reason with the blue, it kind of reminds me of DC's Vigilante a little bit. But that's just me. So we have the goggles. We have this combat webbing that's the one thing the 25th anniversary figures excelled in, was making these separate from the actual molded figure and allowing like those weapons that were molded into the original figure to actually be taken out and played with. So, I mean, great detailing of the pouches and stuff on the combat webbing here. Has this knife sheath, so let's put knife in there. So satisfying. A home for everything. We have, looks like a 9mm. We'll put that in this holster here. Like I said, the only thing I don't like is this. I guess it's a greenish yellow, but it just stands out like a lot. And he came with his bomb satchel, like the original awesome Commando figure in 1982 came with. And an Uzi that they could have done a much better job molding that. There's just something I don't like about it. It just looks like they took a pistol and just threw some stuff on it instead of making like a real Uzi. You hear stuff falling in the background. Those are other figures that I pulled out for a new G.I. Joe content show I plan on doing that will be separate from the Fistful of Joes. Now, why is this Uzi it's like the finger is molded to go into the trigger, except not exactly. Now, the one thing that we haven't, I don't know if we'll come across it today, but I want to point out is some of the figures in the packaging had rubber bands holding their weapons in their hand. I don't know if the figures got put in not all the way dry from the, casting process, but those rubber bands would actually like deform the hands. And I mean, what a bummer. I mean, right out of the package, it's nothing that you could have prevented or done. And by the way, sorry about my hands, but I usually would wear gloves, but since I get a lot of flack for the gloves, you can see my ailment in all of its glory. But anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. I mean, it's a solid figure. Just wish the Uzi was a little bit better and the grenade wasn't so off-putting. And it's weird to encounter a 25th anniversary. Mind you, I haven't played with them too often, but it has some wiggle in it. For something I haven't really played with, it's kind of disappointing that it's kind of wiggling. So there we go. There's Snake Eyes. Our next figure is Guillotine, or Guillotine, however you want to pronounce the word. He is the Plague Trooper Commando that was released in a Toys R Us exclusive with some Plague Trooper characters and some Steel Brigade figures. And there are some really neat features that make this a solid figure. Now you can see that it is the new style that was created around the Venom vs. Valor vs. Venom toy line. That you have these big chunky shoulders with these huge, sorry for the blurriness, these huge rivets. Now, the items he comes with, well, let's take a look at the figure first. Keep skipping a step. He came with a stand, so hey, that's a bonus. But I think they reused a gung-ho head from that toy line period. I mean, he's kind of basic. And this kind of bugs me. It looks like something that missed a paint application. But why do they have like forearm guards only on one side? Should have just connected them. Has a pistol there. It looks like he has Copperhead's legs. But one of the things that I love about this figure right off is his helmet. It's very reminiscent of like the Hydro Viper type of helmet. And he comes with a backpack that the lines plug on in there. Sorry for the spin cycle in the background. I also get complaints about that on top of my gloves. But hey, I need to multitask. Need to get stuff done for the family while I get done stuff for me. So it's a very generic type of backpack. Nice pouches. A knife molded into it at an angle, which is weird. But you would think it would have oxygen canisters or something. Now he comes with this quasi-futuristic gun. That I think may spread plague, but if something's that like front heavy, you would think that it would have a stock. But that's just me. And he has really nice molded trigger finger, but no trigger or trigger guard to put in there. So this gun is all well and good, but what was really awesome, and now that I look at it, maybe I should put some detail paints on this, but he came with this awesome sword. Look at this. I mean, it's a little bit smaller than a human skull to that scale. So maybe it's a baby skull and spine, which is even more disturbing. But this hand is wide open because it was molded for the gun here. As you can see. So we will put the gun to the side, give him this boss sword. That he's even having trouble holding in the other hand. What the deuce? But the backpack has this little feature where you can slide it down in there. Again, doesn't want to hold perfectly. But now he has a backseat driver. Let's see if I can get that blur out of there. Get my stupid hand out of there. So there we go. There is guillotine. Either way, it's a solid figure for the time period. Wish the gun was a little bit better. Wish the backpack had some oxygen or plague tanks on it. But other than that, I'm happy to have it. On to our fourth Random Joe, or Cobra. Next, we have the 25th anniversary version of the water moccasin pilot, Copperhead. Now, hands down, Copperhead is cool no matter what era he comes from. I may have to fact check that for some of the 90s and early 2000s blind spots that I have. But anyway, I love his color scheme, and this 25th anniversary version just nails it. I mean, he's proportionately a lot different than the original figure. I mean, those shoulders are massive. I mean, some of the other figures aren't that bad, so I don't know why it just looks so jarring on this figure. Now, let's take a look at some of the details here. We have this, like, ribbing down the pants, and they actually put some, like, wear and dirt in there, which, I mean, that's just an extra step beyond. I mean, the buckles on the boots. And look at it. The boots are actually muddy. That's awesome. He has a gun holster here. And he has this like 45 type of pistol that we shall put in there. Now, I wish it would clasp down. Here. Tuck it in. That seems to work. Maybe that was the design of it, and I'm just an idiot. I probably knew it at the time in the 2000s, but I have forgotten. We'll go with that. I knew it one time, so I'm not completely dumb. So, first things first, I don't like that. I mean, it's completely molded to hold this like M16 with an M203, which, I mean, that's cool. I don't know how he went about getting this type of firearm, but I feel like it was pretty much his go-to weapon for many years with the figures. Let me move that out. Now, his one shoulder is kind of tight, so I was afraid of moving it, because I feel like for as cool as these figures are, they can be fragile at times. Sorry for that extreme close-up of putting the gun in his hand. But with this show, we just go with it. We just have fun. We just look at the toy, play with it a little bit. There we go. Finally, looks kind of decent now. Having a hard time getting his arms to want to hold this gun. So there he is. His helmet looks decent. I like the detailing on it. A little bit bigger flanges off to the side than the original. I'll have to double check. I'm not sure if they ever came out with the 25th anniversary version of the water moccasin, because I know they did some of the vehicles. So I might have to look that up and drop it in notes here in the episode. But, I mean, solid. Looks good. As much as I hate that molded hand by itself, when he's posing with it, it looks great. We have the file card, which I forgot to show some of the previous figures' file cards. And what I was clamoring for at the time, a return of flag points. I mean, these are called Operation Rescue Dock points. I mean, let's look at this. you got that sticker, and you had to get 6 stickers from the comic packs. And how much was it? Collect the proof of purchases and send a check or money order for $4.95. Made out to Operation Rescue Doc Redemption Request. Here's his ransom note that says, "To whom it may concern, we have Doc. Once we've brainwashed him, he'll be the key to the success of my ultimate evil plan. Only 6 proof of purchase stickers can save him, but you'll never collect them in time. In fact, I dare you to try. You'll never make it, and soon I will rule the world. Ha 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 ha. Cobra Commander." Not even a sincerely or evilly yours. Nothing like that. Kind of an abrupt ending. But I do have the Doc, but he's still sealed in his mailer. Excuse me. One day I will bust him out for a fistful of Joes and we'll take a look, because I have not taken a look ever since I've had him. Now, when was this? It must be postmarked by August 31st, 2008. Man, that feels so long ago now. I mean, in 4 years, that'll be 20 years ago. That is crazy. Anyway, here is Copperhead, and let's get to our 5th and final Fistful of Joes random figure. Our last random G.I. Joe figure for this evening is the Mobile Missile Specialist Fast Draw. And yeah, when this dude hit the shelves, I was so excited. Fast Draw is awesome. I mean, kids love missile launchers. At that time period, we grew up with a strong military onslaught of movies, cartoon, TV, toys like G.I. Joe, and just missiles and missile launchers were the bomb, no pun intended. And to have a dude that carries around a backpack with missiles, I mean, that's like a dream come true. On top of that, let's take a look at the figure. I mean, awesome colors. I'm such a fan of the color scheme of this figure. The greens, the grays, I mean, these red highlights, the blue. I mean, that is a rich blue. And the detailing on these like quilted blast-proof pads that he has on is awesome. They did a great job. Awesome helmet. Little nick there in the silver, but all in all, great condition. I remember I picked this guy up somewhere when I got back into collecting Joes. I cannot remember where exactly, but I still have the bag that it was sold in. So Fast Draw, not 87, a C, which I think was the pricing structure. I think C, because, I mean, the dude, he comes with all of his gear. So, no matter how much he cost, he was probably a great deal at that time. So, I mean, even has the hoses here. So we will put this here. And I have the missiles backwards. I always wondered what was the proper way. I want to say this is the proper way because it has the hole for his helmet's hose at the top here. Let's go ahead and put that in now so we don't have to wrestle with the figure. Now the only thing I could see, unless they fire upside down. You know what? I hate that I don't even know. Because, you know what? I think all these years, I've thought of it upside down. Backwards, if you will. We're going to do it this way. Hit me up if I'm wrong or not. I'll do some research in the meantime when I edit this to see if I'm wrong and call myself out if I am. But here's where these hoses fit. So it seems only natural that they would be here in the front. And I think the seller, these are replacement hoses because they're not very gnarled up from years of play. Feels like I'm breaking them in for the first time. So then these go to these trigger mechanisms here. Sorry for the blurriness. You know what? I don't even think I messed around with these triggers when I was a kid. It was just like, throw on the missile backpack and go to town, homie. And I only assume this is the original tubing. Maybe I should have done the helmet first. Come on. Stay together. Fast draw, come on. Keep it together. You're a specialist after all. Here we go. Just gonna see if I can slide these down in here. Because I am always so worried about breaking thumbs. There ain't no going back when you break a thumb. Now, I recently bought some milli putty to try to fix a couple figures, and I might film that experience just to show how a unskilled normal person would handle it. Because I know there's some great pros out there that do good work. But I want to give my hand at it because one of the figures that broke, he has a stuck screw and a busted chest. So a little patch, try to get the screw out, which I haven't been successful with yet, is a great figure that I always wanted. So I definitely want to try to fix him. So here we go, fast draw in all of his glory. Like I said, I don't know if I have this backwards or not. So happy that I have him complete. Here's the file card. That gray style. That was like earth-shattering at the time. Like, oh my god, a new color. Maybe that was just me. Anyway, we are going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for dropping by. And now, back to me.
Okay, folks, back to me. I have to say, for our first Fistful of Joes Reloaded in such a long time, we got a great random pick of 5 G.I. Joe and Cobra figures from different eras. We had a couple classics, a couple 25th anniversary, and one right down the middle. Like I said, I have a few questions about Fast Draw, and hopefully I'll answer them in the editing process, and I will leave any notes if need be, and call myself out for being an idiot, which is pretty typical for me. Anyway, sorry about washing machine noise, dryer noise, beeps, boops, all that stuff, but like I said, I have to multitask while here in the laundry room, so family and fun come together in this magical realm that I call my side of the laundry room, and I thank you all for coming by, playing G.I. Joe with me, and until next time, yeah, I am so excited to get back into Fistful of Joes Reloaded, and yeah, it's just fun, therapeutic, stress relieving, nostalgic, just all things beautiful of digging into these toys and playing with them, and just, yeah, just remembering great times, remembering getting those Conquest toy hunt finds, and of course, wonderful gifts like the one from my friend Michael. So anyway, I thank you all for tuning in. I hope you liked this episode. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them, and I love getting back to everyone. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this or any of the other content that YouTube is recommending, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you'll be notified whenever there's a new episode. So anyway, until next time, thank you so much for watching. Keep being rad and stay dorky. And yo, Joe.